1 month ago, I released my first Steam game, and it made a total of $0. But that was to be expected, since it was a free game. I'll get into why I did that later, but because it was free, money isn't the metric to determine its success. We actually have to look at multiple metrics like downloads and playtime to determine if it was successful or not. And if you look at those numbers, okay, it still wasn't a massive hit. But that's okay, not every game can be Megabonk or Clover Pit. I feel like you only hear about the massive successes, so I wanted to share a more relatable example with you guys and share the mistakes I made so you can learn from them. I'm going to quickly go over all the important metrics and then come back to them and do a deep dive on each. So diving in, you might see that I have 15,000 total units, which the first time I saw this, I was ecstatic. I'm like, my game is blowing up. But then I realized there's just a bunch of bots that download free games automatically, so instead you have to go off the unique downloads, since that's the real number of people who downloaded your game. And surprisingly, in the first month, I had 400 unique users. Now, 400 might not seem like a huge number if you're used to all the games posting like 1 million copies sold, but getting 400 unique people to download my game is actually pretty exciting. Would I be mad if I got more? Of course not, but I'm super appreciative of everyone who downloaded my game and gave it a shot. Now, on to the more negative stats. The average playtime was only 3 minutes, which arguably is not very good. This basically just means my game didn't hold people's attention, and that's on me. I also only got 7 reviews. I was really aiming for 10 since I hear that's the magic number that makes Steam take your game seriously, but again, that just shows me I need to do better. However, despite all these stats, I still think this game was a success. And you might be thinking, how could I possibly think that? Well, like I said in my previous video, which you should go watch if you want to learn more about my game, the purpose of this game was to release a game on Steam, and no one can say I didn't do that. There are so many things you can only learn from publishing a game, and I knew I had to learn these things in order to make a successful game one day. Making a game and publishing a game are just totally different skill sets. Plus, having people play your game, finding bugs, sharing the features they want to see, that all really helps, and man did I learn a lot. Starting of course with marketing. Marketing is such an important part of any game, so of course I did the bare minimum. I posted a trailer on my channel, which got about 1,000 views, and then I made a full video for when I released the game, which got about 3,000 views. Those aren't the best numbers I've done on this channel, but again, that just means I need to improve. But those 2 videos were the only marketing I did, and that's probably where all my downloads came from. When I launched the game, I only had about 40 wishlists, which is well below the 7,000 to 10,000 range they say you should have. Obviously, this has a lot to do with how little I marketed the game, but it also leads me to the next big lesson I learned, the Steam page. I put the Steam page up the same day I released the trailer, and then within a month, I released the full game. This gave me very little time to build up an audience, and they recommend you have your Steam page up for way longer. But since this was such a small game, I wasn't too worried about it. Another thing I slacked on was the actual Steam page itself. It's recommended to get a professional artist to make your key art for the Steam page, but since I knew this was a small game, I decided I could do it myself. And as you can tell, it is mediocre at best. It could have been way better, but would that have translated to more downloads? I don't know. Maybe, but then the game would still have to hold up. And if you look at the average playtime, I don't think it did. Which leads me to my last topic. Probably the most important part of making a game. Playtesting. Playtesting is so important. Since I made this game so quickly, I was really the only one to play it, and it shows. I think people found it too hard right out the gate and got discouraged, or they found it hard to control, or it completely crashed on them. All things that could have been prevented. I think this is what really led to the 3-minute playtime. And all of this could have been prevented if I just had people play the game before I released it. There were also just some things I never thought of. I learned that people like to have adjustable window sizes when playing games, which I never thought of since I always play in full screen, but apparently it's something people on Steam want to see. There's just so many little things you learn once you publish a game. Which, by the way, definitely makes me think Danny made Megabonk, or at least wasn't this guy's first game. Because there's so much polish and so much quality of life, it's hard to believe it's someone's first attempt. But hey, if it really was, congrats to him. He's clearly got it more figured out than me. But now I'll definitely be better prepared for my next game. So now the big question. Why did I make my game free? Well, honestly, it was so I had no excuses if it did bad. I know if I made this game like $3 and no one played it, I'd be like, oh, people just didn't want to take a chance on this game and spend money. And I'd let myself off without much reflection. But if I can't get people to play a game that I made for free, how do I expect them to play a game they have to pay for? So I know I have to be better. Whether it's better gameplay, better store page, better marketing, better videos. But the only way to get better is to keep trying and improving as I go. That's the whole reason I made this game in the first place. Just looking back at some of the first games I made, or the first videos I posted, I've improved so much. And yeah, I'm not perfect yet, but you don't come out the womb painting Picasso. So I'm going to keep trying and improving until I make a successful game one day. So if you want to follow me on my journey to accomplish that, I'd appreciate if you subscribed. And I'll see you guys next time.